Hey there, everybody. This is Sarah Harnish. I am Young Living Platinum, and I'm the author of the Gameplan book. Gameplan, the complete strategy guide to go from starter kit to silver. And this is the Gameplan boot camp. And tonight's a very personal boot camp, about as personal as the first one that I did. So if you guys are up for a few tears tonight, I hope you enjoy that. It's going to be a little crazy. So you guys ready for some oil adrenaline? Oh boy, this is a fun one tonight. I got a lot of good things to cover, especially for people who've had their businesses for a while. So if you've had it for a little bit, we're going to hit some things for you. I know I've kept a lot of it very focused on newbies. Sorry, let me move this light just a little bit so you guys can see a little bit better. I know I've kept a lot of it focused on new business builders. Tonight we're going to hit a little bit of content for some of the older business builders who've had it for a while. But if you're new, you're still going to learn a ton tonight, so don't go anywhere. Tonight's topic, nobody's coming to classes. Now what do I do, Sarah? Like, I used your marketing system and I can't get anybody to show up for classes. So got a few oils for tonight. I cannot believe we made it all the way to day 12. And I haven't mentioned Frankincence yet. Here's Frank, my buddy, my homie. Frank and I are best friends. I gotta admit, when I got my starter kit, I smelled it. I was like, whoa, like that does not smell like Japanese cherry blossom. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this guy right here. But the more that I used my oils, the more I was drawn to him, like just so drawn to this oil. And now I am a Frank addict. Like oh my word. I call frankincense my squirrel oil. Because whenever I'm sitting there, like I'll start praying. I'll be praying over my business and I'll be like, okay, dear Jesus, I had to pray for my Aunt Betsy, who she's got cancer right now, God, and I know you can intervene, you can heal her. And what was that noise outside? I think my kids are climbing on the roof. What the heck? They're going to get their butt swept. And dear Jesus, please, please, please be with my friend today who's with her son at college. And oh my gosh, I forgot to put dinner in the crock pot. Dang nabbit. So I'm praying and I'm just over here and then I'm over here and I'm over here. This is my squirrel oil when I'm praying. I like to put it in my diffuser because it's just like focus, like focus, Sarah, focus when I'm praying. So it's also a really good oil for strategy. If you need to strategize, it's a great, great, great strategy oil. I love it. So if you're sitting there and you're getting ready to read your game plan books, put this bad boy in your diffuser or douse yourself in it. Another oil that I like to use specifically for this chapter, for chapter 12, and nobody's coming to classes, is Friends. Oola Friends is in the Oola kit. It's a wonderful, wonderful oil for relationships. It's a great oil for relationships and for bonding and for putting you in the place of compassion where you're just loving on people. You're just loving on them for no reason other than just to love on people. So it's awesome. And then for the pain of rejection, pan away. That was actually just a joke. I was reading through the oils tonight, asking my kids which one I should put on there, and my teenage son said, pan away for the pain of rejection, and I thought it was really funny, so I threw that in there. We have another bonus oil we're going to talk about later on, but that's a little bit later on tonight. So the big ones are Frankincence and Oola Friends I would use for this oil. So in this book, we have hit on strategy. We've worked on writing for your classes. We did a ground up English class, basically, because I worked on writing. We did a bit of math when we started going over the strategy chapter and understanding how you rank in the virtual office. It's a really, really good chapter if you need to understand strategy. And we're going to hit strategy again when we get to chapter 18. You got a little history of the oils with the 101 script and in the appendix A. And now tonight, it's all about psychology. It's about the psychology of network marketing. This is a full immersion college credit in boot camp. Okay, we're going to hit it really hard tonight. So if anybody has ever told you that network marketing doesn't work, and that's the way that I word it in this chapter on chapter 12, network marketing doesn't work, because I've been approached a lot by many, many different people telling me network marketing doesn't work. And I'm like, y'all, my paycheck is 6 times what it was 2 years ago. So do not tell me network marketing doesn't work. It does work, and it works for every personality type, and it works no matter where you live, and it works no matter how much money you have, and it works no matter how many resources you have, and it works no matter how many friends you have, because I have people in every single one of those categories on my team, and most of them are silvers now and above. Some are golds and one is a platinum. The shyest person on my entire team is going to go platinum this month. So, it works. Your personality, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're not outgoing. It doesn't matter if you don't like talking to people. It doesn't matter. I've already trained you how to not be salesy. We've hit that over and over and over again. It's about education. You have to educate people how to use the oils and keep it focused on the chemical-free lifestyle. And you're going to win hearts to oils, because I don't know anybody out there who's like, yeah, I like to slather myself in some cancer-causing chemicals today. and poison my whole family. Nobody thinks like that. So as long as you're keeping it on those lines of a chemical-free home, then you're doing it right. All right, you're doing it right. You can't really mess this up. You just need passion for what you've seen the oils do. So if anybody comes to you and says network marketing doesn't work, it's likely just because they don't understand the psychology of network marketing. They'll say, yeah, I did this MLM and I did this MLM and I did this MLM, but I never made more than X number of dollars. I never made more than this. Generally, the reason for that is because of 3 different things, and that's what we're going to hit tonight when we're going through our training. This chapter is going to change the whole way that you look at your business, and it's going to take the pressure off of you of prospecting people. Like I said, I didn't even like that word prospecting because for me, it's all education. It's always about education. So why are people avoiding you? Why can you not get them into your classes? Why are you having a hard time raising leaders or finding business builders for your business? What is up? Like what is the big thing going on here that you're not able to find people? There's only 3 reasons that happens, why people don't come to your classes or why you can't find leaders. Only 3 reasons that ever happens. Number 1, you're hunting them. People don't like being hunted. They just don't like it, okay? They can feel it when they're being hunted, and so we're going to talk about that. Number 2, they're missing the education component between coming to class and getting the kit. They don't know what they need the kit for. They're just not sure. Maybe they got it and it's just sitting on a shelf for a year. I tell you, I use those little buggers constantly. Every single day, like 50, 60 times a day. One really good way you can get good at using your oils is grab some you haven't used in a while and put them on the table at your dinner table. And as you're eating, make sure that the oils can't sit on the table longer than 10 seconds. So they have to constantly be passed during the entire meal, and just smell them and pass it and smell it and pass it. And if you're really drawn to one, put a couple drops on your skin and pass it and pass it and pass it and pass it. Babs, it's good to see you. So just pass it around. It's amazing. You're going to notice the conversation around your dinner table change. Like seriously, it's amazing. It's just the frequency of the oils. They're incredible. And so it's just a matter of getting them on your body, playing with them until you learn the things that your biochemistry and your body loves about the oils. Your body will tell you what they want. So the second reason that you're missing it is that you're missing the education prospect between coming to class and getting the kit. They just don't know what they need it for. All right. Number 3, you spew negativity and you're just not a leader that they want to follow. You just spew negativity. So those are the 3 reasons, and the only 3 reasons why people will not come to class. You're hunting them, they don't know what the oils do, or you're spewing negativity and you're just not a leader that they think that they want to follow. So there is the possibility that they have 0 interest in oils, but because oils have 10 billion uses, that's not likely. Every single person on the earth needs oils. All of them need oils. All right. They just don't know what they need them for yet. So let's talk about each one of these things in detail. Number 1, don't be a hunter. Don't be a hunter. I've got a great example of this, and I got two stories to share tonight. This is one of them. This is one of my foibles. That's how I was able to write the game plan book, was because I made so many stinking mistakes that I figure if I put it in a book, because I'm a real klutz, I drop things, I run into walls, and I make a gazillion mistakes. So I figured if I put it in a book, then you guys might learn from some of my mistakes, and you wouldn't make some of the mistakes that I'm making in my business. All right. So don't be a hunter. My brother, Aaron. I love my brother, Aaron. I love my brother, Aaron. My brother and I shared a room my entire childhood. We are tight. We're homies. And when I got involved in oils, what did I do? Well, I love my brother, so I wanted to send him stuff. So I mailed him oils. I mailed him stuff for Christmas. I mailed him samples. I mailed him stuff for Valentine's Day. I mailed him stuff for the new moon. I mailed him stuff for the blue moon. Constantly sending him oil stuff. Well, he moved into a new house, and I went out there to go visit him in his house, and it had been like 2 years. I kept sending him stuff. Couldn't get him to get a starter kit. Couldn't get him to host a class. And I came out, and he was walking through, showing me through his house, and he opens up a cabinet, and all the stuff that I gave him was sitting there untouched. It was all on the shelf, and I was like, and so I started talking to him about oils, and his hand immediately goes up, not interested. I don't want to hear it. You're here to see my house. I'm like, okay. All right. So I'm holding my tongue, and we go upstairs, and we're looking through his house, and then we get all the way down to the basement of his house, all the way downstairs. And there's a really strong cigarette smell downstairs. It's really bad in the basement. And he said, yeah, he goes, we're going to turn this into playroom for our kids. They've got a toddler son, and they have a little baby girl, Clara Rose. And I said, we're going to turn this into a playroom, but it smells really bad of cigarette smoke, and I can't get rid of it. So I'm paying a guy in a couple days to come bomb the basement. And I look around in the basement, and I'm looking at it. I have a little tickle cough. I look around in the basement and there's almost no windows down there. And I said, now wait a second. So the bombing they're going to do, explain to me like what that is. So he said, yeah, he goes, we have to leave the house for 3 days because it's not safe for us to be in the house, and they're going to bomb it, and then we can come back after 3 days and the smell should be gone. And I said, wait a second, just let me get this right. So you're going to bomb your house with so many chemicals that it's not safe for you to be in the house. But then when you come back after 3 days, all of a sudden it's safe for you to be in the house. And then you're going to turn the room that you bombed, which has no windows in it, into a playroom for your children, where they're going to crawl on the floor and they're going to play with toys, and then they're going to eat the toys off the floor that have been sprayed with the chemicals that were so dangerous that you couldn't even be in your house for 3 days. Like, that's what you're going to do? Like, you're gonna do that to your playroom for your children that they're gonna grow up in? Like, why would you do that? And he just looks at me, he goes, do you have a better way? And I go, I do. I said, would you just give me one shot? And he goes, you have one shot. You have one shot. One shot. If it says the word oils in it, like, I don't know if I can handle it. I said, I want you to order starter kit, Erin. I want you to order thieves cleaner, and I want you to wipe down this entire basement with thieves cleaner. I want you to get an extra diffuser, and I want you to diffuse purification, the oil that Gary designed for smells. Diffuse it for the weekend in here. I want you to change your air filters in your heating system, and then you call me back in 3 days. So we did. And 3 days later, there was no smell at all. After a chain smoker had smoked in that basement for 25 years, all the smell was gone out of that basement. And so it was amazing. Now I've got it. Then I start getting texts. It's like 6 weeks after he's got a starter kit. And he goes, so I went to order some FCO on this website, and I was like, whoa. All right, first off, you're making your own roll-ons, you're doing your own stuff with the oils, and you can't speak in acronyms until you've oiled for at least 6 months. All right, so don't even talk to me about fractionated coconut oil and call it FCO. And now I'm constantly getting texts from him about this stuff. Not only that, but about 3 months ago, Aaron decided he wanted to do the business. And my brother has been in sales for 20 years. He's just been selling the wrong thing. He's been selling car stereos. And now he's going to be selling oils. And I know, because of his sales background and how incredibly gifted he is in talking to people about things that they're passionate about, that he's going to go to Royal Crown Diamond very, very fast. So I'm very, very excited for him and his family. What a blessing it's going to be for him to not have to work 12 hours a day, and even more than that when it's near Black Friday and all of that, to be able to see him home with his babies, to have his wife be able to stay home. It's awesome. Like, you can't put a price tag on that. But my brother, because he's in sales, he knew he was being hunted. He knew it when I was sending product to him, and I was dropping stuff on his door, and I was checking in on him and seeing if he'd used it, over and over and over again. He knew he was being hunted. How did he know? Because he works in sales, all right? I don't work in sales. I don't have a background in sales, which is why it's kind of ironic that there's 7,000 of you guys watching me do this boot camp, okay? Because I don't have a background in sales. My background is writing newscasts. But the Lord has taught me a few things in the last 2.5 years of this business, and one of them is you've got to talk to people from a place of compassion and of passion, and not, yes, he did make the car kits. Exactly, that's where Aaron's car kits came from. So now he sells starter kits with an orb diffuser for the cars. He's still selling stereos right now, but he sells the car kits. It's called Aaron's Car Kits with thieves cleaner and the little orb diffuser and the starter kit, and those go out the door. Those go out the door with all the people that come in to get the stereos now, which is just awesome. And I'm watching him, I have the honor of watching him grow his business, which is incredible. So don't be a hunter, guys. He didn't respond because he was being hunted, and because he's a salesperson, he knows what that looks like. Learn the art of the gentle pursuit. Very gentle pursuit. So you drop a sample and then you respond when they're frustrated with something. The best way you can do it is live an oily lifestyle. Let them see it on your Facebook pages. Let them see you using the oils in public, okay? And then as they approach you and as they ask about it, or they have interest and they get invited to a class, and you're marketing within the class, but you're not hunting them. That's different, or somebody comes up to you and they're dealing with something, and then you talk to them, hey, this is what I've done when I've been stressed out. I really, really like these oils. Why don't you try this instead? It's not a hunt. It's a dialogue. It's a conversation. It's a completely different method of talking about the oils. And if you're coming at it from that way, they're not going to feel like they're being pursued. They're not going to feel like you want the sale and you're going in for the sale, because that's truly not why you guys are doing this. I'm an oiler too. I know where you guys are coming from. I know what happens when you get these things in your hands and they work and you get excited and you know you can use them instead of the chemical garbage that's out there. I know how excited you get about them. It's just that sometimes our words don't come across that way when we're talking to the people around us. So it's really, really important that you're just meeting people where they are. All right. You're meeting them where they are. And when you see them struggling with things, then be there when they're struggling. And I was with my brother when he was struggling with the smell in his basement. And that's how we were able to get him to become an oiler. Not because I was hunting him. So the trick is always keep it on education and always focus on the relationship with them before the product. It's always about the relationship and not the product. Eric worries, if I, will you help me tremendously. Those 4 words, if I, will you. If I give you a sample of peppermint, will you run home and try it? If I give you this chemical-free home CD or the 101 audio lecture and I shoot you the link to it, will you listen to it? If I invite you to a free class, would you come? If I set up a half hour for coffee or for cocoa with you, would you have a half an hour to meet with me? If I, would you? All right, if I, would you is awesome. So don't just give free stuff away. Have a purpose to what you're doing and require a response from them. This is when you're working with people one-on-one. When you're in a class, I do give away purple bags, all right? But when you're talking to people one-on-one, you're just meeting them on the street. I was at a basketball game tonight. I gave away a whole bunch of samples at the basketball game. So when you're in those kinds of situations, use if I, will you. To those who are constantly saying no over and over and over and over again, do you remember that verse from Matthew yesterday that we talked about? Kick the dust off your feet and move on. All right, just move on. There may be a day that they will listen, but maybe it's not right now. Maybe it's not in this moment. And that's not necessarily their fault. They may not be in a place to listen. Maybe they have basketball games that they're in the middle of or family members living with them. And so no is not no forever. No is not no forever. Engage in a way that's genuine and real and build a relationship with them. And most will follow that. Some will do it after they have processed many, many conversations with you. And that's okay. Just make sure that your heart is always to educate and not to hunt. Don't dwell on the no's. Pursue relationships and not kit sales. Okay? Pursue relationships and not kit sales. So number 2. The second thing for tonight is to be an educator. And we did hit on this just a little bit with the last point. I want you guys for just a moment to walk back to the place. I'm going to have you do 2 exercises tonight. One's in your homework and one's right now. I want you to walk back to the place where you knew nothing about oils. Nothing. Before you ever had an oil in your hand, ever. And you had no idea what they did. And maybe you'd seen some other people using oils. You thought they were snake oils. They were a little weird, a little crazy, okay? I want you to walk back to that place. This is the place where your students are. That's where they are. They don't know anything about using the oils at all. You have to walk back to that place and you have to connect with them and find out what piece of information they need for the oils to work for them. Is it smells? Is it emotions? Is it cleaning supplies? Is it chemical-free living? Is it supplements? Is it pets? Is it pain cream? What is it that they need? What's their niche? Are they a runner? Are they into fitness? Okay? Whatever it is. It was very foreign to me too. And I already had a background in clean living. I was the one out there making kombucha and making kefir and making my bone broth and eating all organic. And I have my organic garden in the backyard. And I'll tell you, oils were very foreign to me when I first started. I had no idea what they were. So you need to walk to that place to be able to connect with them. We tend to walk into our classes assuming that people are on the level where we are, and that's not always the case. Actually, most of the time, it's not the case. So you got to get back to that spot. Start where they are and then meet them there with no judgment. Chrissy, it's good to see you on. No judgment at all. Here's the key too, especially for those of you that have been oiling for a long time, and this I'm going to talk about a lot in Gameplan 2. Do not walk away too soon. Too soon. Some of my strongest oilers now were people that I started working with 2 years ago that just got essential rewards in the last 2 or 3 months. Like they're just finally, like it's starting to click and they're starting to get it and it's starting to make sense to them. So don't walk away too fast on people. Same thing with potential oilers. Just build relationships with them, connect without judgment, and then educate. Educate, educate, educate. All right, third reason that you're having a hard time getting people to classes, ditch the negativity. You've seen me pepper this in through several of the lectures. This is very, very important. The words that you speak are critical. This is hard though. And I'm going to talk to you tonight about why it's hard. And this is my super personal story that I promised you guys tonight. Because there's a lot of reasons for why we're negative. A lot of reasons for why we're negative. You may have been disappointed so many times that you don't believe that good things can happen to you. I lived in poverty for 36 years. Did I think that John and I were going to be millionaires in 2017? No. Like, no. I mean, oh my gosh, no. If you had told me what was coming when I got my starter kit, I probably would have laughed out loud at you. I would have laughed and completely lost it with you and thought it was absolutely freaking hilarious what you were telling me, because I had been poor for so long and been in survival mode for so many decades that I didn't even know what that place was. I never, ever saw my starter kit going to where I am right now. We are a breath away from diamond rank right now. We've got the OGV. 3 out of 5 of our legs are there. The other 2 are within 2,000 OGV. I mean, we're this close to hitting diamond right now, you know. And if I step back and I look at that, and I'm just like, God, I did not see that coming. And I'm so poverty over. Yes, Allison. I didn't see that coming, Lord. Like when you told me to trust you and you told me to jump, I am so glad I listened to you. Like, I am so glad that I followed through and I did not continue doing what Sarah wanted to do or think that I had a better way, but that I started following what you told me to do and that I was obedient to that. So you may be disappointed, and that's why you're negative, because you just don't believe that good things can happen to you. And I understand that, but there's a place for trust. There's a place where you just got to let it go. If you want this to happen and you believe it can happen for you, you're going to have to walk in it. When you're going to have to walk in the belief that it's going to happen to you before it happens, for it to happen to you. Okay. You've got to believe even now that you're a diamond for you to become a diamond, for you to get to diamond rank. You have to believe it now when you're a distributor and when you're star and when you're senior star, because that's the only way you're going to get to diamond is if you know where you're going. All right. And if your goal is star, then it's going to be hard for you to get to diamond. It's going to be hard because you don't believe that it's possible. So it's really important that you see it. You got to picture what your life is going to look like at diamond, how you're going to spend your time at diamond. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. All right. So that's one reason why people are negative. They just have given up. They've given up hope. Another reason is maybe you just don't allow yourself to dream. You really, truly don't allow yourself to dream. You're like, okay, I can live by Dave Ramsey. I can pay off my debt. We'll have $300 a month extra. You know, I could pick up a little bit of a second job. My only goal is grass-fed beef, and that's all I want to go. If I could just get good food for my family, I'm good enough for that. But you don't allow yourself to dream. That's one of the things the Lord's really been working on with me, especially as we sit here on the cusp of diamond and with this book release and everything. The biggest thing he's been telling me is, Sarah, will you just let me handle the dreams for you, girl? Because you do not dream the way I dream for you. Your dreams, you take me and you put me in a box and you don't allow me to do the things that I want to do in your life. I talk about prospering. Sarah, you have no idea what prosperity is. I'm the one that owns a cattle on 1,000 hills. I own all the wealth in this world. I know what prosperity is. And your idea of prosperity is nothing compared to what my idea of prosperity is for you and for your family. So will you just stop and allow yourself to dream big, like big dreams? It's okay. It's okay to dream big. It's all right. There's nothing wrong with it. God has no problem with abundance. Some of his favorite people in the Bible were wealthy. You look at Job, you look at David, you look at Solomon, the wealthiest guy who ever lived. God loved these people. He gave them abundance. He doesn't have an issue with wealth. It's okay. Especially if he's trusting you with wealth, it means that he believes that you're a good steward and you're going to do good things with it. So be a good steward and pour it on to people that you see that the Lord crosses, puts in front of your path. But there's no problem with wealth. So don't put God in a box. All right. And say, okay, I'm only making the goal of going to senior star. That's it. And if we go beyond that, that's good. I just want to get my oils for free and that's it. That's what I said to God the first 6 months of my business. I just want to get my oils for free. And God's like, oh, really? Really? How about I give you an income that's more than what you're making at your full-time job? Would that get your attention? And within 12 weeks, I was making more than I was 16 years of anchoring news. Okay. 16 years. And then I was like, okay, God, yeah, all right. I got my oils for free. This is great. And he goes, oh, I still don't have your attention yet. All right, fine. We'll double it. And now you're going to make twice what you're making in your full-time job. Then we're going to triple it. Then we're going to quadruple it. Then we're going to multiply it by 5. Then we're going to multiply it by 6. And if that isn't enough, then I'm going to throw book royalties at you as well. Is there a point where you believe that my dreams are so much bigger than your dreams will ever be, Sarah Jill Harnish? And I'm still learning, where I step back and I'm like, okay, God, all right, you got it. You got it. You tell me what I need to do, and I will be obedient to whatever path you have for me. Whatever those dreams are, I'm not going to put you in a box anymore. I'm done putting God in a box. So sometimes we have negativity because we just don't allow our minds to go to that place where God wants them to go. He wants us to walk with him. He wants us to dance with him, and we're not willing to dance. Or maybe you've been hurt over and over and over and over again, and your trust has been totally crushed. It's just been crushed. And you got walls that are so high and so thick that nobody is going to be able to break through those walls. Nobody is going to be able to break through. Maybe you've been through a terrifically awful divorce. Maybe you've been abused. Maybe you've been married to an alcoholic. Okay, maybe some of those things have happened to you guys. I'm going to share a really graphic story with you. So if you don't want a graphic story shared with you, now would be the time to shut off the boot camp and you can walk away. I'm giving you a heads up before I go into it, but I'm going to get a little personal with my life here. So just bear with me for a few minutes. There's probably going to be a few tears shed, but I'm just going to open wide up to you guys. Many of you know, if you've read the first 2 chapters of the Gameplan book, that I had a pretty rough childhood when I was a little girl. My dad is an alcoholic. He still is an alcoholic. Right now he lives in Illinois. That's where I was raised. And I'm the oldest of 4 kids, so I'm like a live-in babysitter. My mom basically raised us single-handedly. We lived in a subdivision that was not the best subdivision in suburban Chicago. It was a trading ground, a drug trading ground right between 2 gang territories. So we had a subdivision on one side that was a gang territory and a subdivision on the other side that was a gang territory, and then they traded drugs in our subdivision. And so I grew up watching SWAT teams raiding houses and drug raids and police everywhere, and that was my childhood. It was rough. My mom had a hard time raising me because I was loud, I was talkative, I was in her face, I had my own ideas of how things needed to be done. The other kids were obedient and they were good and they were quiet, and Sarah wasn't. Sarah was a yakety yak yak yak, you know, and so she had a friend who had Down syndrome, whose name was Janet. And Janet was an amazing babysitter, just an amazing babysitter, woman in her 40s, and it gave her family a little bit of extra income. And so my mom on the weekends would take me to Janet's house just to get a little breather from me because I was so much of a handful of a child to raise. What my mom didn't know was that Janet's husband was a child molester. And so when I was 3 years old was the first time that he started touching me and molesting me when I was a little girl. And my parents didn't catch it until I was 11 years old. So for 8 years, every single weekend when I would go to their house, I was molested by Janet's husband. And eventually my sisters told my parents. I didn't know because it had started when I was so little that was just norm for me. I thought it was normal that when the lights went out, that's when this man came into the room, and that was what was supposed to happen to little girls. You know, I didn't know any different. And it's hard to tell the story, but my sister, one day we walked into my mom's room and she said, "Mommy, I don't want to go to Janet's house this weekend because her husband touches me." And I remember my mom grabbing her and saying, "What do you mean her husband touches you?" And then grabbing my other sister and says, "Does he touch you too?" And then running through the house and grabbing each of us and crying and saying, "Did he touch you? Did he touch you? Did he touch you?" And just sobbing and crying. And the next thing I knew, we were in a courtroom and my parents had taken him to court, and he got a slap on the hand with a fine, and he had to pay for counseling for us. So I've been through years and years and years of counseling from being molested for 8 years when I was a little girl. And it's hard. When I had my first boyfriend, I had major body issues. I'm still afraid of the dark when I go outside because I associate the dark with danger and with being hurt and being touched and being touched in really, really inappropriate ways, and have always had major body issues and been afraid and embarrassed of my body and afraid and embarrassed of the way that I look, mostly because of what I went through when I was a little girl, because I had no self-dignity and I had no self-worth when I went through that. And so my walls were really high and they were really, really wide and really thick and really hard to get over. And I remember when I first started dating my husband when I was 16 years old, he would just try to give me a hug. He just tried to hold my hand, and I would curl up in a ball and I would rock back and forth in the ball just from him touching me. And I would sit in the corner for hours and just sob and sob and sob and sob and cry. And it was John's gentle love and his spirit of, "I will never hurt you. I will never lay a hand on you in that way. I will never make you uncomfortable. I've got your back. I will protect you. I will keep you safe. I will love you to the end of the earth. You're beautiful to me." You're beautiful to me when you're 9 months pregnant. You're beautiful to me when you gain 60 pounds in pregnancy. You're beautiful to me no matter what you look like. I will never, ever value you any less than what you are worth. And okay, so the reason I'm telling you all of this is that it put me in a place of negativity. I am healed, Cheryl. I am. To be able to share this in front of thousands of people, it's hard. All right, it's hard. But I share it because I know there are a lot of you guys out there who've been abused. And I know that there are a lot of you guys out there who have been raised in a family with alcoholism and with mental health issues. And there have been a lot of you guys in there whose stories are so much worse than mine. I mean, when I put it in the book, people started writing me and telling me their stories of the things that they've been into. And I know that what the Lord took me through is nothing compared to many of your stories out there. And the reason that I share it with you is because when those walls go up, we can get to a place where we can't help ourselves because it's a self-defense mechanism to live in the land of the negative because we don't allow ourselves to dream. We don't allow ourselves to believe that God has got better things for us. Joy, God's got you, all right? He's got you. And he does. He does. One of my favorite oils, favorite oils, I've been drawn to it since the minute I smelled it for abuse. And especially with the emotional pain of abuse and disconnecting from the abuse is 3 Wise Men. You can see how beat up my bottle is. That's how much I use it. It's traveled with me all over the world. I love that oil. Love that oil. Because it reminds me that God is faithful and that he promises to turn all things for good. That he promises in his word to take those awful, deep, terrible, rotten things that have happened to us, all right, and turn them for his glory and turn them for his good. He takes that pain and he turns that story and into something positive that puts you in a place where you can relate to people, where your testimony pulls them out of that dark place that they are. Never would I want to relive that. But if I had to relive it so that somebody on this boot camp could hear it and know that there's a way out, that there's hope, that there is a God who died for that, and you don't have to carry that with you anymore, then it's worth it. You know, it's worth the sacrifice and it's worth the pain. The oil that I use is called 3 Wise Men. I use it extensively when I'm doing raindrop. I love using this oil in raindrop. It's so good for emotions. It's so good for emotions. And God is there, guys. He doesn't leave you. He doesn't forsake you. He never walks away from you. He never forgets you. Never, ever forgets you. So I would tell you, if you've been through that, if you've been through those places of abuse, first off, get into a church family, surround yourself by people that love the Lord, that can walk with you in your faith and your relationship. There's a great group out there called the Healing Journey. If you need to find a Healing Journey group near you, you can go to flnfamilylifenetwork.org. That's the radio ministry that I work with. And there's a button there for Healing Journey. Get yourself plugged into a Healing Journey group or write them and see if you can find a group that's close to you, because it helps a lot just talking through that. Diffuse your oils. Oils are a saving grace when you've been abused. Like, they are to help you deal with the emotional trauma and the release of those memories. The way that I explain oils are, you're not going to forget the memory, but it's going to purge the pain that you have associated with that memory. So now I can walk out when I go to do a news shift and I'm out in the dark at 3:00 in the morning by myself, walking into a building that's pitch black, and I'm there by myself in this big industrial building for 2 hours, writing newscasts. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid because I purged the pain of the fear of getting hunted. All right, I purged the pain. So does it mean that it's going to erase the memory of what happened to you? No, but that pain associated with it gets easier. It just gets easier. So maybe you're having problems with negativity because of the stuff that you had been through, the garbage you've been through, the abuse that you've been through, the pain that you've walked through, the way people have treated you, the hurt that you've been through, the places that you've been, the way that you were raised, the way your parents treated you, an alcoholic in your family, okay, mental health in your family. I don't know what it is. Drugs in your family. All of us have dirt. Like, every single one of us have been through something that just shreds us, okay? It just takes us down to nothing. Maybe you have a prodigal child and just trying to live through that, just trying to live and survive through knowing that they're safe and knowing that they're not hurt, even when they hate your guts and don't want to talk to you or have anything to do with you, and just that pain of carrying that, or a sibling or parents, whatever it is that you guys are carrying, he's already died for it. Okay, he's already died for it. You don't have to carry that. He's already carried it for you. So get your oils out, get plugged into a church, get into a place where you can talk through some of the stuff and release some of the stuff and the pain that you're carrying, because it for me has carried me a long way in dealing with the negativity in my life. And I've decided, there are people I want to be around, and there's people that I don't want to be around anymore. Not because I don't love them, because I do love them, but I know that they take me to a place that I don't want to go. They take me to that land of negativity, or they take me to that place of no hope. They take me to that place of darkness. And I realize, man, that's not the place God wants us to be. If we're in that place where we're broken, how can we help other people? Because we're always literally in survival mode, trying to go from emergency to emergency to emergency. God doesn't want you to live in that place. He wants you healthy. He wants you thriving. Okay. Kathy says, I was thinking this evening I should write a book because of all the junk I've dealt with, but I'm not sure I want it public. Kathy, I so understand that. I so understand. So hopefully those couple of little tips will help you, even just a smidge, in dealing with some of the things that you're carrying around with you. But the one thing that I can tell you is how you speak matters, and it's gonna impact who is drawn to you, and it's gonna impact how you're able to lead your teams. It's gonna impact how you're gonna be able to run your business. Because if those walls are so high and so thick that nobody can get to you, nobody can reach you, and nobody can come close to you, it's gonna be very hard for you to connect with people. All right, very hard for you to connect with people. So another thing that I would recommend, and I'm going to talk about this a little later on, is the Dani Johnson conference. Dani's DANI Johnson.com. Her training is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And she was abused. It was my story times 1,000, the abuse that she went through. So if you are in a place of abuse and you need to go somewhere where you feel like you can release some of that, get to one of her conferences. It's absolutely amazing, amazing, amazing stuff. Whatever your reason for spewing negativity or for spewing sarcasm, whatever it is, you will struggle with building a business because people will not follow that. All right, they're just not going to follow it. So people are going to look to see if there's something in your life that they want. They're going to see, they're going to look into you. And one of my greatest joys in Young Living is to have a platform to talk about speaking life over people, to talk about that place where you live, because you can't change other people's choices or what has happened to you, but you can always always control how you respond to it. So let me repeat that again. You can't control the situation. You can't always control what happens, and you definitely can't control other people, but you can always control how you respond to situations. All right. This is your year to be free, guys. This is your year to release it, free of it all. Released of the negativity, released of the sarcasm. Your walls are not needed anymore. They're not needed. Okay, you don't have to have them in place. The Lord has sent something to you to help you build relationships, to help you build friendships, to help you climb over those things, and you're going to be okay. All right, you're going to be all right. I want you to consider every single word out of your mouth, every conversation with those around you, every post on every social media platform as an arena where you are going to be studied. You're going to be studied by all the people around you, your friends, your acquaintances, your friends of your friends, the potential people that might be coming to your classes. That's your arena to speak, your platform. You guys are out there to speak words of life. If you're not emulating Young Living's values of abundance and wellness and purpose, people are going to run the other way. All right, they're going to run the other way. They have no reason to follow something that they don't want in their life. So pause before you speak. All right, pause before you speak. And if what you're about to say is hurtful or it's negative, reconsider it, because your words will either build up or they'll tear down. So you want to use them carefully, very, very carefully. I love Toby Mac's stuff. If you ever go to Toby Mac's Facebook page, he's got little isms that he puts up, quotes and stuff every single day, and his Speak Life. He always hashtags it Speak Life, because I just love that. Absolutely love that. If you can master those 3 skills, avoiding the hunt, be an educator, and ditch negativity, and you have a genuine heart with the people that you speak with, and you're real and you're raw, you're going to inspire people in all walks of life. So fill yourself with good things and then project that through your team. Fill yourself with good things and then project it. You'll be able to be the spigot on other people. All right, workbook assignment number 11. Really, really, really important. This is one of the times where I think the workbook assignment is more important than the game plan book. All right, it's more important. So if you guys are following along, go ahead and go to workbook assignment chapter 12. So where we are tonight, let's see, that's chapter 14, chapter 9, and chapter 12. No one is coming to classes, now what? I want you to follow along. We are on page 49 in the workbook, and there's a couple things I want you to do. This is really, really important. I want you to read through the 101. You guys, I've already had you read through it 10 times. I want you to read through it one more time. But I'm going to give you a different way of reading through the 101 script. So the 101 script is Appendix A in the game plan book. I want you to read it again, but I want you to read it differently. This is very important. Are you guys listening? Listen very closely, all right? I want you to imagine yourself as a Royal Crown Diamond, all right? On the 20th of every single month, you have $230,000 deposited into your bank account. It's going to happen on Friday. And then in February 20th, there's going to be another $220,000. And then March 20th, there's going to be another $220,000. And then April 20th, there's going to be another $220,000 deposited into your bank account. All right. I want you to imagine that you're already in that place. How would you act and how would you respond and how would you talk to people and how would you train your leaders? How would you deliver the 101 if you were already there? Would it be different? Would it be slightly different? I want you to read that 101 like you're a Royal Crown Diamond. You're going to read it with confidence, okay? Those walls are going to come down. You're going to be edifying. You're going to speak life. You're going to believe in it like no tomorrow because you've done it. You've lived it. You've been there. I want you to start carrying yourself like a royal right now. From this day in the boot camp today, all the way until you are a Royal Crown Diamond, I want you to carry yourself at that rank. I want you to act like you're a royal. I want you to walk like you're a royal. I want you to speak like you're a royal. All right. I want you to train your leaders as if you've already done it. I want you to exude confidence. And I want you to read that script as if $220,000 is getting deposited in your bank account this Friday. Please. All right. I'm telling you, you're going to act completely differently when you know you've already attained the rank. You're going to act differently. If you're not a silver yet and you hit silver, you're going to act differently. Once you hit silver, you know you're in the top 1% of the entire company. Okay, that's huge. That's absolutely huge. You are the king's kids. You are royalty. You have been chosen to be royalty. You're on this boot camp because you have what it takes to be royalty. So act like it. All right, act like it. You don't need to put people down. You don't need to spew negativity. You don't need to live in the land of survival. You don't need to live in those places because you've already achieved it. You've already accomplished it. Now walk in it. Just walk in it because it's already done. It's already there. God's already given it to you. Yeah, it is a lot of money. It is a lot of money. But I'm telling you, I want you to read through the 101. You guys got to promise me. It's part of your homework assignments. You read the 101 top down as if you're a Royal Crown Diamond. All right? That's what I want you to do. I also want you to practice writing out your own if I will you statement. It's one that you just got on hand. If you bump into people when you're at the grocery store or whatever, what do you say when you really want people to try the oils? And be very genuine. Hey, if I give you this, will you give me this? Will you respond by listening to it? Can I check in with you in a week? So write your own if I will you statement so you've always got it on hand and you've got it in the back of your mind. The other thing that I want to talk about very briefly tonight, very briefly, because we're going to hit on it really hard in Game Plan 2. So this is actually a tease of Game Plan 2, which I am writing right now. I'm not even close to done with it. It's going to take me a while to get it done, so don't expect it in 2 weeks, y'all. But I'm working on it. Is what about the plateau? Conquering the plateau. What happens when you rank and then you just sit there at that rank? And so this is a little nugget that I put in the workbook only. It is not in the game plan book. So if you want to read this information, you're going to have to grab the workbook if you don't have it yet and read through it. But there's a couple of pages. Yes, game plan 2. Game plan 2 is for silvers and above, and I'm already writing it right now. Let's talk about being stuck, being plateaued a little bit for a while. Many of you guys are starting your business. Let's talk about conquering the plateau, and you're welcome here. Absolutely. Most of this is aimed towards you. But for just a moment, let me pause and speak to the crowd that is stuck. All right. Maybe you've been stuck for 2 months. Maybe you've been stuck for years. How do you conquer the plateau? What do you do when you're stuck right here? Okay. You're just like totally like, what do I do now? I got stuck at platinum for 8 months. You guys are going to laugh. Now, some of you guys that are stars or senior stars are going to be like, okay, you were stuck at platinum. Like, are you kidding me, Sarah? But I was stuck at platinum at 130,000 OGV for 8 months straight. Like, we just did not move. Nobody in the team was moving. We were totally stuck. And now we're double that OGV. And I just want to show you a few tricks that I used for getting past being stuck when I'm just like, you're just like in that spot, conquering the plateau. I thought that it fit really well with this chapter. So here's a couple of tips. Number one, one-on-ones. I'd love to be stuck at platinum. No, you want to get to diamond. You don't want to be stuck anywhere. Is there or will there be a CD of Gameplan? That's the audio. That's the Audible audio that you'll be able to get. So it's going to be digital. However, Audible distributes it to you guys, and I believe you'll be able to listen on a phone. You'll be able to listen on your computer. I'm not sure if they give you an MP3 version of it. I'm not sure how Audible works, but it'll all be digital. So yeah. So here's the first tip on when you plateaued. One-on-ones. You remember that list that I had you make, which you shouldn't be done yet. You should still keep adding to it in the game plan book of all your warm market, all the people that are on your Christmas card list and came to your wedding 10 years ago and all of that. All of those people, I want you to start going through piece by piece by piece and do one-on-ones with every single one of those people on your list. That's a really good way to break plateaus. It's an awesome way to break plateaus. There's a bonus in the workbook with a 30-second script that's pre-written on what you can say for vendor events. Vendor events is the second way that I get past plateaus. So vendor events are places where you pick up leads. I went to a 3-hour vendor event about a month and a half ago, and we picked up 96 leads for classes. 96. So if you're totally stuck and you're just not moving in your warm market right now and you're inviting and you're having a problem getting people to classes and you've gotten out of your friends circles and it's not growing fast enough for you, first thing I do is one-on-ones with my warm market. Second thing I do is vendor events to pick up leads, just to get classes scheduled and booked and get outside of my friends circles. And like I said, I wrote a 30-second script specifically for vendor events. It's not in the game plan book. That is in the workbook. That'll really, really bless you. The third thing I would tell you is tools. Learn to use your tools. Go back over the people that are about to drop off of your organization this month, the ones that dropped off for the last 4 months, and send them tools. Maybe the audio 101 that we have online. If I email this to you, will you listen to it? If I will you, exactly. So send them the audio 101, have them listen to that, send them an oily sample, educate them, find out where they are, try to meet with them, connect with them. So touching base with the people that are already on your team that are not on Essential Rewards, all right? Make sure, this is an admonishment, make sure you are doing 4 to 6 classes a month. Even if you're in upper leadership, we tend to hand off the training to our leaders. And when you do that, you're handing off your business, all right? That's really bad. You've got to be out there. You got to be growing your business. Because when your leaders see you teach, that's when they get out and they teach. You're setting the example and setting the bar for your team. Okay, so that's something you have to be out there doing what you're expecting your leaders to do. The fifth thing I'll tell you to do is work on your leaders. So what I do is at the end of every month, this is a tip that I got from Vanessa Romero, who went starter kit to diamond in 10 months, 10 days. She's a genius. She's a really good friend of ours, John's and mine, the Romero family. And what she told me is, Sarah, at the end of every single class, or at the end of every single month, I make a list of all the people that sold starter kits that month, and those are the people that I work with, the ones that are out there that are doing things. So Sheila says those that are going inactive don't reply, then I would try other methods. So if you're emailing, try texting. If you're texting, try calling. If you're calling, it's not working, try chance meetings, all right? See if you can bump into them at school. See if you can bump into them at soccer games, whatever you need to do to touch base with them. So those are the tips that I would give if you plateaued. One-on-ones with your warm market, even if you got to do 30 of them. Do it. All right. Vendor events to pick up leads. Use your tools. Use new tools that you haven't been using already. Utilize all those ER images that we put together for you on the oilabilityteam.com page. The audio 101. Make sure you are out there doing the volume that you need to be able to grow your other legs so that you can rank up, and work with the people that are working every single month. Make a list of all the people out there selling kits, and that's a really good way to break your plateaus. Work with them. Let them know that they are appreciated. All right, that wraps up night 12. Ooh, that was crazy. On to night 13 tomorrow. You guys are rocking this, absolutely rocking this. Let me give you a little tip for those of you that can't find me. Did you know that you can choose to follow me while I'm shooting a live video? There's a button right now where you're watching where you can choose follow. And if you do that, every time I go live, you'll get a notification and it'll just tell you, hey, Sarah's live right now. And that'll really help you, especially after we end boot camp. I'm going to be doing roundtables, answering your questions. I'm going to be shooting little tiny short little 5-minute videos randomly in the evenings. And so whenever I'm on, you'll be able to see, oh wait, Sarah's live right now. And you can pop over and see what's going on. When new things pop out, when the Game Plan 2 book gets released, when our DVDs go up, lots of you guys have asked me about the DVDs. And so if you ask me about the DVDs, when we get those up on Amazon site, we're releasing them one by one. We'll pop on Facebook and we'll let you know that they're on. So there's going to be a lot of new things coming down the pipeline. You're going to want to constantly check the oilabilityteam.com website. Okay. And John also mentioned the Facebook Live map. If you haven't seen that, following me all the way to Royal Crown Diamond. Sheila, I'll be following you to Royal Crown Diamond. So there's a Facebook map. If you go to facebook.com/live map, I'm in upstate New York, and it's very, very easy for you to be able to find me if you click on the map. So if you go to this page and you can't find the video when I'm starting the video, you can click on the map at facebook.com/live map. You can also find that map on our website at oilabilityteam.com, which has all the homework assignments written out for you so you can find them. And we've got a bulk order button for those who want to order game plan books for their teams to do their own boot camps, 40% off forever. We're offering that forever. Where is the button? If you can't find it, you can go to oilabilityteam.com, and we've got it up there for the Facebook Live button so you can find it. All right. And then just 5 days until the Live Your Passion Rally, held by our team in Corning, New York, January 21st, loaded with oily giveaways, a brand new lecture. I've not released it yet. It's brand spanking new. You guys are going to love it and more. So that wraps up night 12. Tomorrow for night 13, we're going to talk about confidence. What do you do about confidence? Holly says that button for following me comes up right when you get on. So right when you get on Facebook Live tomorrow, hit follow Sarah, and then every time I'm live, it'll automatically tell you so that you know and you can find, you don't have to dig around trying to look for the video. So night 13 tomorrow, confidence. I'm going to train you how to fake it till you make it. It's our #1 principle in the newsroom. See you guys soon. Thank you so much for walking with me tonight. I know it was an emotional night. Get your 3 wise men out. I love you guys. Thank you for all your passion and for getting on and being diehards. I appreciate you. Share this video with your teams. Pop it up on your Facebook page. Show people how to get over some of their fear of MLMs and the fears of their business. Share these videos in your business pages, guys, and bless your leaders. Love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern.